Hi there, Professor and my peers. How you doing? My name is Jennifer Stough. Today I will be doing my capstone video presentation for ECH 455 for California Baptist University. Super excited to be here and super excited to have made it to week 7. Go us. So yeah, today I will be discussing the topic of foster care. Let me start by explaining why I chose the topic of foster care. I have always had a heart for foster care children. Even at a very young age, I always wondered about them. And when I was really young, I would ask my mom, why does that family have like 5 kids and they don't look like their parents? And I would just continue with the questions, and I had to know why. And even when I played softball, I would sometimes have someone on my team who was a foster child, and I definitely noticed that they were a little bit more withdrawn than, say, someone else on the team. So for those reasons, I have always had a heart for foster care children, and it has stayed with me into adulthood. And so here I am, and I still have a heart for foster care children, and I want to know why, and I want to know more research. So let's get into it. As many of you probably already know, the foster care system is an arrangement for children who cannot be cared for by their birth parents. They are then placed into a home by regulations under the state. The foster care system has many positive attributes. After all, they establish a home for a child in need. The system is supposed to serve, protect, and be a positive system. However, there are some negative aspects of the foster care system. Children sometimes bounce from one foster family to another. Sometimes the child faces abuse and neglect within the new home that is supposed to help them. Because of all of this, developmental changes occur within these children. My research indicates that this weighs heavy on the child. The purpose of my capstone paper is to explore how children are affected developmentally after entering the foster care system. In my video, I will be summarizing the main elements of my capstone paper. I will be touching on the topics of secure attachments, how educationally vulnerable the foster care population is, the psychological disorders these children may face, parental drug use, permanency issues, and lastly, abuse within the foster care system. Sorry, I had to close my window. Secure attachments. Secure attachments can have a huge impact on a child. Children under foster care often are faced with unhealthy attachments. It is because these children are not just losing one parent, they are losing both parents, family, friends, and the community that they once called their own. My research found these children sometimes later have psychological problems as adults because of the lack of supportive caregivers. A study was conducted to assess the relationship between adverse childhood experiences and psychological well-being in women who were in foster care as children. They used 101 women ages 18 to 71 years of age. They completed an anonymous online survey and a sense of coerce questionnaire. The results found that more than 56% of respondents were identified as experiencing current psychological distress. The research proves that especially in women, psychological issues can be pinpointed back to the foster care system. Next, I will discuss how educationally vulnerable the foster care population is. Imagine being in 3rd grade and you have been to 9 different schools in 1 year. Could you imagine learning your teacher's name, remembering where you sit, remembering your new friends' names? Not to mention, you have to go home to a new family. The effects of placement and school stability on academic growth are astonishing. Students who enter the foster care system are typically behind academically. Research states both school moves and placement changes have a negative effect on academic growth, more so than just school moves alone. So, can you imagine what this does to the child with a combination of both? Family placements and school placements and changes? They are unable to keep up in school systems. It is no wonder they are the most vulnerable group of students in their schools. That is why we, as future educators, need to be aware of this and provide educational support during times of transitions. It can be especially critical to our foster students' academic progress. Additionally, children entering foster care are experiencing psychological disorders. The mental needs and care of these children is overwhelming in numbers. My research found a study that investigated foster care characteristics as potential risk factors of psychopathology among adolescents in care. Do you want to know what they found? Placement instability, age, placement type, and maltreatment were all linked to psychopathology. They also found these children are at risk for depression, PTSD, and suicide attempt. We need to come up with solutions to end the battle of these saddening truths. There is so much needed from mental health services. When you are an educator, keep an eye out for the signs from a child in need. Another topic that is critical are the effects of children who have parental drug use in their lives, which in turn creates permanency issues for the child. The number of children coming into care has increased due to parental drug use. This is known as a barrier to permanency. The parental drug use affects the age of children being put into foster care. There is a current opiate epidemic, as my research suggests, and it has a deep relationship with child welfare caseloads lacking. Child welfare expertise suspect that this has played a role in the rise of both parental drug-related referrals and young children in foster care. This affects the child because they are entering a broken system at such a young age. The younger that the child enters the system, the younger that they are exposed to these saddening truths. Next, I will discuss permanency issues within the foster care system. Permanency for young children is typically more common compared to older children, since young children are more likely to be adopted. The children who are not placed or adopted and instead bouncing from one home to another are likely to have cognitive or developmental delays, medical issues, and attachment disorders. Permanency is so important because, as my research suggests, it is built on values that a child deserves a permanent family. Science also just suggests that a stable caregiver can add to attachment issues, and it is critical to brain development and long-term mental and physical health. Finding a child a stable home that is loving and caring can really benefit a child in need. Lastly, the topic I will be discussing is abuse. Over time, neglect and abuse in institutions and in foster care for children have been reviewed. A compilation of injuries worldwide have been made with testimonies of abuse from more than 5,000 people. These memories can unfortunately last a lifetime. Some reports stated children who are now adults are said to have never been able to get over the abuse, even after extensive therapy. Care that has resulted in maltreatment, abuse, and injury is common in state programs. More and more children of young ages are showing signs of suicide. We must figure out a solution to the problem. We must figure out a solution to the problem. These children are seeking love and affection. They are being moved from one family and place to another. The last thing they need is to face neglect or abuse from their caregiver. To sum this up, children entering foster care need help. Children placed in foster care need excellent, loving care. There are so many ways that children are being affected developmentally. I discussed just a handful of them. We as future educators can learn from this newfound research. I hope this video made you realize the truths of foster care and the children entering the foster care system. And will remember this video when you have a student in your classroom one day who says they are in the foster care. Please be aware of the signs when a child is in need of help. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and I can't wait to be with you when we make a difference in the world and have a positive impact on the children who are in desperate need that are in the foster care system. God bless.